social media's reaction has been almost universally about Sean Strickland afterwards, okay? He was unwilling to back up the pre-fight talk of fighting to the death, of altering his game plan. You had Eric Nixick in his ear after every round urging him to do something different, and he couldn't. He did fight through the broken nose and showed some toughness. But does Sean Strickland deserve what amounts to the Colby Covington-like go-home heat that he's receiving, essentially blaming all things UFC 312 on him? Should we be talking about him as much as the internet is after this one-sided defeat?
I think so. I think so.
We just have to admit it now. We have to admit it. Sean Strickland is not who he says he is. He's not who he says he is. We want him to be something. He wants to be something, but he's not that guy. He's not the guy who's going to go to the death, to the death. He didn't go to the death. He didn't even go to the well. He didn't even go deep. I'm not saying he's not a great fighter. I'm not saying he doesn't deserve to be where he's at, but he's not who he says he is. We got to admit that.
Just like Colby Covington, putting on the fake stick, the fake bad guy, saying the most outlandish things, but then getting in the octagon and pretty much shit in the bed, not delivering, turning the fans off. The same situation is playing out with Sean Strickland. You know, Sean Strickland is a savage. He's a great fighter, an elite fighter, and he's pretty good. But just like Dean Thomas said, he's not fighting to the death like he claims he does. And he's done this over and over and over again. I've definitely pointed it out in the past, but I feel like now, all of a sudden, everybody's finally realizing and accepting the fact that Sean Strickland is not who he says he is.
Did he look as in shape to you this time as he did for the last fight?
Yes, and I even thought with the change in facial hair and hair, even though that doesn't really be part of it, that it showed that he was like even more focused on going in there and doing what.
But you look like the driver. Well, you know, guys, I did drop out of elementary school, so here we are. Because you're not allowed near kids with that look anymore.
I did not think he looked as good. I thought he looked much sharper last time, physically. And if you look at the numbers for this fight, his significant strikes landed dropped off by 50, not 50%, but like 50 total. And actually last time he numerically outstruck DDP. This time he was numerically, and I think also obviously qualitatively outstruck. You bring up Colby Covington, and the reason why that's important is because he made this claim after the Leon Edwards fight where he completely shit the bed.
Yes.
Whereas like, well, I was injured, and he, other factors he brought up. And it's like, I understand that there can be, in certain cases, extremely mitigating circumstances that make judgment of any one individual performance hard to come by. And I can certainly afford Sean Strickland that in this particular case. But the body of work is what the body of work is. He is a defensively oriented fighter who has tried to rebrand himself, or at least retool his skill set to be a little bit more offensive to get himself over the hump. And not only did he not do that, he actually regressed.
Again, honestly speaking, I feel like if Sean Strickland just didn't sell himself to be this madman type fighter, he wouldn't be getting the backlash he's getting right now. I think people are just, in general, tired of him claiming to go to the death, but not fighting that way. I think he did have staph. It was very visible on his arm, but he hasn't posed that as an excuse. And people like Khalil Roundtree, Yuri Prohashka, and even Dricus Du Plessis, they fight like how Sean Strickland talks. So it's all about the persona and just not playing out in the octagon.
What did we learn yesterday? We learned that bully is always right. I've been saying it forever. Sean sucks. He's trash. He talks a big game, but he's never walks. Even to the fans, sit there and hype him up like he has the best boxer, the best boxing defense, this and that. He's gonna go to war. He's gonna kill. I would bleed for my fans. I would die for my fans. Blah, blah. But you go out there and he just jabs and teeps, and he fights like a scared little girl. And he doesn't want to get hit, and he just, even when you're down 4 rounds, he doesn't go all out. He doesn't have it in him unless there's 5 seconds left in the fight. Wants people to say that he's crazy, he's nuts. He's not. He's just a racist little clown that's hiding in a body of a fighter. He's a coward. And now he's going to come up with oh man, but I had staff. Let me tell you something, guys. I get paid a lot of money and I got staff. So, but I was going to still fight for you guys because I have to put a show on for my fans. And then I broke my nose, so that messed up my whole fight, even though I lost the first 3 rounds just by jabbing one time every 5 minutes. Yeah, man, it was all from the staff. That's why I wore sleeveless shirts at the press conference so people could see it and have the excuse built up already. And my fans will know that I still stepped in there for you. He sucks. And finally we get to get rid of giving this guy undeserved title shots.
I reach out there. I've been in Extreme with Sean Strickland. I give these guys free game. Yo, this is what's working. This what's not working. This is how you get better. Oh, man, don't worry about it. I got it. So when I'm on the broadcast and I see you ain't got it, I'm going to talk about you. Because I've been willing to give free game my entire career. So, like, if you don't want to take my free game, you're going to have to take the criticism.
Do they ever come to you face to face, or you get like a message or something?
Sometimes it's like these little smarmy comments. Like, hey, man, why you dog me? Hey, man, listen, do better. You know what I'm saying? Like, do better. It's not me. Don't be mad at me if you didn't do good.
I mean, if you're not willing to take advice from an experienced fighter, a coach, someone who has accolades, and you want to keep doing the same thing you keep doing, you have to be willing to take the criticism when that time comes. But on the other hand, I haven't really seen Sean Strickland complain about anything or give any excuses, so props to him. But again, 100% on what Dean Thomas said.
Yeah, I'm just, we all watch the fight and we all heard the guy talk about to the death, Dutchman, to the death. This motherfucker talks such a big game, and then he bitches out and basically quits in a fight after he breaks his nose. Like, what are you worried about? You have a title fight. You have world titles online. That's all you want. That's all you dreamed of. And you're more worried about fixing your fucking nose than fucking winning and biting down on your mouthpiece and doing what you got to do. I mean, it shows your true character. That's the cage is all about.
He's getting a ton of shit in the aftermath of this fight. People saying that, I had Dean Thomas in studio here saying like he's not that guy. He says he's that guy, but he's not that guy. Do you agree with that sentiment?
100%. When has he ever fucking put his ass on the line and fucking bit down and really went for it through a whole process of a fight, not just the last 10 seconds of a round? I mean, the guy is nonstop. I mean, he's not finishing any big fights. I'll tell you that. Look at him out there, just talking and doing shit that's not even him.
What do you mean by that last part?
I'm just tired of fake people. I don't know. I mean, you just see everything that he presents himself as, which he is not. It's pretty simple.
Now, I do think that's a funny statement from Luke Rockhold, because he did quit in his fight against Mike Perry and BKFC when he broke his teeth. So he's not someone to be talking about this, but everything he says is true, because he's not necessarily talking about quitting in the fight. He's talking about claiming to go to the death and fight for you guys and go to war and all that. But said this verbatim, Sean Strickland did not do any of that. In fact, I don't remember the last time Sean Strickland did any of that. When Sean Strickland beat and defeated Israel Adesanya, it was kind of a boring fight, but it was shocking to see him do that to Izzy. That's what the story of that fight was. But that fight wasn't that interesting. He really didn't go to war either. And when he's on the back foot, when the pressure is coming towards him, he really doesn't go to war like he says. And that's just facts.
I think he needs to evaluate what he wants to do in the sport. If it's just to make money, then that's great. Let us know. I want to coach world champions. So my motivations are different. So I think that just to kind of show up and do that and not really back it up, just to me was just kind of uninspiring.
What can you tell us about the arm, and B, do you think that affected him in any way?
It certainly doesn't help, but yeah, he had staph a couple weeks prior to us leaving. He was on antibiotics, but no, I mean, he looked great leading up to the last week and a half of training. Traveled out there, his cardio felt fine, everything felt fine. So, of course, getting staff that at any point doesn't help the situation. It's not ideal, but that's, to me, not the reason why he felt flat.
He says things like he's going to fight to the death, and obviously that's not really what we saw on Saturday. Do you think that the criticism is warranted? Do you think that it has been fair?
Yeah, of course, I do. I do. I mean, we have to be real. Like, it just was a very underwhelming performance in an opportunity to fight for a title.
If this is the type of performance that we are set to see from Sean in the future, do you not want to coach him anymore? Do you not want to work with him anymore?
Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment that I would have to sit down with Sean and talk to him about, right? Like, you know, where can my services be of help for you? You know, I think as a coach, you get credit for things you don't do essentially as much, and you get the blame for things that you might not do as well. So you got to be right there in the middle. But in situations like this, where your motivations might change, and if that's the case, if his motivations have changed to something different, where it's like, hey, I prefer to fight for money or a paycheck, and it's not to be the best or be a world champion, then yeah, I think as a coach and fighter, we should sit down and have that conversation.
That's Eric Nixick, who is Sean Strickland's own coach. If you're getting that kind of criticism from your own coach publicly, I mean, you got to be objective. You got to call a spade a spade. He says the same thing, talking all that braggadocious attitude, being edgy and all that, but getting in the octagon and just not performing. He didn't win one round in the fight against DDP. Not one round. And that says a lot. And there was a point in the fight where Strickland was getting instructions from Eric Nixick, his coach, and he just started walking off, I guess, out of frustration and all that. At the end of the day, fighters win, fighters lose. It is what it is. But if you're going to talk all that, you got to back it up. I think this tweet I found pretty much sums up the whole thing. It says, Sean Strickland is the worst UFC fighter to ever win a belt. I will never forgive Izzy for making him relevant. The only reason he's got fans is because he says some edgy shit teenagers think is cool. Back to irrelevance. I mean, I think that's a factual statement. Sean Strickland is a edgelord, and it's kind of childish, you know. He says a lot of outlandish things, and I really don't even care about that. But if you're going to be that type of person and then get in the octagon and be so professional and be a point fighter, you have to be called out. But let me know what you guys think. You think the backlash Sean Strickland is getting right now is deserved, or do you think everyone is being too harsh on him? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to know if you guys agree or not. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe. I'll see you guys later.
Hey, what up, guys? We've been here once or twice. I'm so grateful for your guys' support, man. You guys are so awesome. Win or lose, you guys always ride, and I appreciate you, Dricus. Fucking hats off, man. Hell of a fight. Broke my nose like 6 places. Silver lining is your nose is so broken, it's really easy to reset. So, you know, it was a new experience. But, you know, I'll be quick. I get so many messages from fans, friends, family, like, hold your head up, it's okay. And you guys, man, like, I'm good, dude. Like, losing sucks, but, like, we all lose in life. And I talk to so many people, you know, whether they lose their job, their girlfriend breaks up with them, and they just find themselves in this hole. But like me, I love the misery. Like, I love the suffering, because when you're miserable, when you're in pain, when suffering, the moment that's gone, and it will end, and there will be a new day, a better day, life's good. So, you know, I'm grateful, and being grateful kind of keeps my head up. And, you know, for you guys going through it, look at me, just, you know, broke my nose in front of millions of people, fucking sucks, lost a fight, and I still gotta wake up tomorrow, hold my head up, and be like, hey man, it's a new day, gotta sack up and be a man. So for you guys going through it, look at me, and, you know, I hope that fucking your day gets better.